Hello and greetings everybody, welcome to Port Royale for a classic amongst the economy simulation games out there. I was looking forward to this game quite some time now. I'm really excited to finally start it. Of course we're going to start with a free game, and if you don't know anything about Port Royale 4, then it's about time. It's one of these games where you start with basically nothing, a small ship in the Caribbean under the flag of one of 4 nations, and you will have to climb the ladder, get yourself a name there with pirateering, bounty hunting, some trading of course, making productions, becoming the mayor of a town, and well, increasing the fame of your nation of course in big wars against other nations. And with that, let's start a free game under the British flag. We're going to choose between, well, one of the nations first. We do have 4 nations: England, France, Spain and the Netherlands. So all these 4 colonial powers are in the Caribbean and they're fighting for power. And in that case, I'm going with England here. Mostly banks on fleet strength in the colonies to put Spain in their place. Provided that enough fame is available, you are able to make use of these advantages. They will help you in creating and maintaining powerful convoys. And as you can see here, we can see the ships that we have. We have the military frigates available with England and the ship of the lines. For example, with France, we have the Caravelle, and Spain has the war galleon, and the Netherlands has the carrack. But we're going with England, and we also have the bonus that reduce construction costs for military frigates and faster working shipyards. Now, next up is what we want to play as. We do have a few roles available. We can be an adventurer, a merchant, a buccaneer, a piratess. These are the roles, and all of them have some different abilities, and they also look a bit different, as we can see. So in this case here, the adventurer, for example, gives me 25% more experience with captains and stuff like that. What all of these things is, we're going to look at in a few minutes there. And in this playthrough, I've decided to go with the Buccaneer. So despite his elegant appearance, he still is a swashbuckling daredevil and has excellent connections to the royal household. Thus, he has huge advantages as a privateer. However, he should stay away from shady activities because his deeds will be observed more closely than those before. And the letters of marquee are 90% off, and we gain 5 fame points at the beginning. But we also have a double loss of fame for piracy, so we should not be caught if we want to play a bit as a pirate. Now, this is the world. As we can see, we have to choose now one of our main starting points. Last but not least, we also have to decide in which hometown we want to start. So this is kind of like the town that we want to build up from the ground, more or less. And Port Royale, well, that's the name of the game. It's this city here that we have in the center of it all, but still a bit farther away than with the other towns. But still, I think it should be fine going with Port Royale. And these are the settings. Let's start. And here we are, the end of the Desmond rebellions. Gerald Fitzgerald, the 15th Earl of Desmond in Ireland, is murdered by Moriarty of Castledrum, who receives a reward from Queen Elizabeth of England. The Earls of Desmond have fought since the 1560s in the First and Second Desmond Rebellion against the English in order to push back their influence in Ireland. The rebellions ended with the death of Gerald Fitzgerald, whose head is displayed on the city walls of Cork. Okay, so there we are at the end of kind of like a rebellion, as it seems. I'm going to pause the game real quick to just have a little look around of what we could achieve here. Alright, and here we are now in the Caribbean. In front of us is Port Royale in a very beautiful fashion, right? We can just scroll into one of these towns and just enjoy their atmosphere. Every town does look a bit different. Especially when it comes to their surroundings. And as we can see, well, Port Royale is this small little town here just on a single island. We don't have anyone close by really. We have our other English colonies around here, and I think the more we go then up here, we will have then enemy cities as well, or at least for now some, well, foreign forces, that is. And what is the goal here now exactly? Well, the goal is first of all to build up a trade empire in all these towns, so all of these towns do produce something. And second of all, to get enough fame that we can become the mayor of one of these towns and start building stuff up, right? Because this is also a building game, and we can use then and exploit the resources of each town. And on top of that, you also have, well, quite a complex political system around it with the viceroy, who is sitting here in Santo Domingo right now. So this is where he's sitting in this little town, and he's the viceroy, so kind of like the patron, the chef of the whole thing here, the boss, and he is going to give us tasks and whatnot that we gain some fame. Now, first of all, let's have a look around. What do we have? We have a little vessel here. Nothing, not much, but it's something at least, right? And the game starting out, well, quite like a basic trading simulation. As we can see, for Port Royale, it's the colony of England, and it has some production. So we have grain, sugar, cotton, and coffee production here. On top of that, what I can see, cloth and clothes. So in that case, clothing and the cloth here, right? So we do have the cotton and the grain and the sugar as natural resources on this island that we can produce. Then we have the cloth that uses the cotton, and then we have the clothing that uses the cloth. So in that case, there would be a nice chain here already that we could build up, but we cannot build up anything yet. What we know is that there must be enough clothing on this island here on Port Royale, and as we can see, there is. So as long as we do get a nice price out of it, we should be fine, right? Let's take 90 of it for 29,000. Cost us a lot. Oh, yeah, we only had 90,000 cash there available. I would like to do the same thing with the clothing, because I know it is worth it something here. Or it's actually not that much worth. And then we can have a look around. Santiago, Barracoa, Puerto Padre, Trinidad, Port-au-Prince, Tortuga that we have, Isabela, right? These are the towns that we know so far. We don't know anything else, right? So we do need to also explore new cities and stuff like that. Let's just have a look around. So what I can see is that none of them is producing cloth or clothing. So it might be a good idea of just sailing over there and selling those things, right? And as we can see, my little vessel here now is on the way to this town. Now, I hope that there is no pirate around or something like that. Because there are pirates, we could become a pirate ourselves, and then we'll just, you know, destroy and plunder enemy ships, or even ships of our own nation. But we shouldn't get caught in the act, most likely. And a little bit later, my little vessel here now arrives in Santiago, and let's just have a look what we can sell. Oops, yeah, we do need a trade license first before we can sell or buy anything here. And this actually costs us 10,000. Before I do spend 10,000 on this license though, let me just check if we do have actually some demand for my goods here. So yeah, there is a demand. So it's a price for 540 that we have. So I just purchase a trade license for now. And then we could sell those things, right? So the cloth, as we can see, yep, is selling quite good. 12,000 for a batch of it. Oh, actually, not that much for this one here. A bit of money at least. What do they have? Pastry, for example, they have. And that is something we could then purchase for a nice price. At least that it's not going up too much. And I think they also have a bit of meat, right? So that is something. Let's just have a look. Barracoa looks like it has nothing of what we need. And what I can see is that Puerto Padre, for example, this little colony here actually has some metalware. Metalware is very rare and needs metal and coal. It doesn't have coal on its own, but what I can see is that Barracoa has coal. So we might purchase coal here, deliver to Puerto Padre, and the more goods are available for making metalware, the more metalware there is. And metalware is really, really rare. Let's just have a look around. None of the other cities here has metalware. So that is a good starting point as well for another trading opportunity that we might have here. Once again, I do need a trade license. We are dangerously low right now on the money. We don't really have that many fixed costs at the moment. So it's fine if it goes a bit down, but it shouldn't go down too much, of course. There we're making a nice profit with the pastry. And I think, yeah, first of all, also some meat. Oh, meat, quite a lot. They take all the meat. It's fine for me. And the coal they have. Let's take a bit of coal here. And with that, let's get over here to Puerto Padre. And as we can see, each of these towns has the little layouts. This one here has lots of mines, for example. Beside the production buildings, we would also be having then some city buildings here. So for the city to grow, you also need some residences, a tavern. There's no church here at the... There's a little chapel. right? So you can also have a church and a hospital then. So you need to grow these cities as well and make your nation the most powerful one in the Caribbean. For now, we really want to focus on Port Royale. Here we can see our fame level. So in that case, if that is full, we might just go for a building license, something that we don't really have yet. Once we have the building license, well, then it gets really, really interesting, because then we can start up our own productions and make it even more complex. But let's just go with a bit of selling here. As I knew, you know, coal is in high demand here, so I can actually sell all the coal that we had. A bit of clothing perhaps, and a bit of pastry there. I think that's all that we have. Yep. And hopefully there is some metalware here. There is. Very good. Actually quite a lot. I can purchase all of it for 26,000. And with that, I go back again to Barbacoa and Santiago. And my little vessel comes into Tortuga now, the famous pirate haven. As we can see, it goes quite deep into the inland, into the hinterlands of this huge island here, where we even have a little town center then there. I can totally see that these two cities here, Port-au-Prince and Tortuga, are going to merge at some point if we let it go that far. I mean, we could also become mayor of Tortuga if we want to and become a pirate king. Who knows about that, right? First of all, I do need a trade license though. And with the trade license, I will then be able to once again, oh yeah, metalware. One of the most profitable things that we have. Sell a few things here and there. What has Tortuga? Some metal. I don't think that that's worth it that much. A bit of rope there perhaps. A bit of metal. That's fine. It's a small coin that makes a difference as well. And then we go to Isabella. Now in Isabella we do have some rum. Rum is really in high demand most of the time. And it's a good port to dock. Let's just see if there's any other town here that has some rum. Nope. So that kind of like has the monopoly then, Isabella, for the rum, which makes it very powerful. Right, and what we can see is rum, for example, does need sugar and wood, strangely enough, for the barrels. But it needs the wood and the sugar. So this is something that Isabella then in this case would like quite often, you know, these resources then, for example. Let's get us a trade license. Despite all these trade licenses, we still have a nice amount of cash because we're selling to a profit here at the moment. And of course, don't get intimidated now by or bored by the manual trading. The manual trading is only really in the beginning. Soon we're going to automate the trading here. Oops, I wanted to get the rum. So you should really start with a bit of manual trading in the beginning, because after a time you get a feeling for what's important in each town. What resource is important, and in that case this makes it then easier to set up some trade routes. What I can see is there's some furniture here. So of course with all these goods, as we can see here, they have different prices as well. For example, we have the basic goods and the demanded goods. Those are goods that are relatively cheap in the prices, so they're not that expensive, right? The most expensive ones are the quality goods down here. These are the ones that you really want to trade or build, like for example the clothing that we have, or well, craft in Port Royale, for example. There's the rum. There is not even that much rum here. What is going on? Alright, someone purchased all the rum in Isabella, and it probably doesn't have enough of a sugar and wood, because both of them are not on the list of production that it has. What is lucky though, I think, yeah, we have sugar in Port Royale, so there we would have a trade route already. We could deliver the sugar to Isabella, take the rum and the furniture, and deliver it then to Tortuga, Port-au-Prince and Port Royale amongst the others. Port Royale is quite important. It's our hometown, so we should really make it prosper. The more goods a town has, well, the easier and the faster it prospers before the other cities. Alright, so we do have 90,000 in cash right now. We have trade licenses in these central cities. That is pretty good. One city is missing though, and that is Santo Domingo. That is the kind of like capital, the crown city that we have in the Caribbean for our nation, England. So let's just have a look at that. It's very important. It's very important to keep our reputation high here. And what we can see in Santo Domingo, it doesn't really have much, right? So it has clothing, but no clothes and no cotton. It produces some coffee. That might be something. So there's in general a very high demand of everything, especially the quality goods. So this might be an easy entrance then towards some fame. Now, let's just wait for my ship to arrive, and while my ship is on the way, we can have a look at the Viceroy. So he's the guy that sits in
I've got something for you.
Santo Domingo. in that case, right? So what we can see with the Viceroy, Joe Morris is the current one. First of all, we got 16 towns for England, and we got 23,000 workers under British flag in that case. And we can also see where we are, with whom we are currently allied. That is the Netherlands. Although the other two nations remain quiet at the moment, it does imply a certain safety that is good for us at the moment. So this, of course, let's trade prosper. We can also see what, for example, is currently in demand. So ropes. The commodity ropes has been in short supply for a long time, while Netherlands has enough in stock. So he would advise us to purchase ropes from the Dutch colonies and get it to our colonies, right? We could get some fame there with that. I think there are no known pirates at the moment, so in that case, if we have known pirates, we could chase them for some bounty, and then we can see all the other nations and their current leaders. So those are the guys and how powerful these nations are. For example, Spain, or well, crowns. Spain is the most powerful at the moment, and of course our goal is to weaken them and make us the most powerful amongst them. And here we can see our fame level. So with the fame level, each time you reach the maximum, you get a fame point, and that you can invest into new techs. Now, let's just go with another trade license here for 10,000. And then I think it's a good opportunity now to finally start our first own automated trade route that should make us some money. Let's start a new trade route. And in that case, let's edit it. And what we can see is a few new informations now that we have here in the Caribbean. The first one is the wind that we can see quite clearly. So the wind is important to some extent, but it changes quite often. And in that case, what we can see is we should probably never travel from Port Royale to Santo Domingo directly, because we would have heavy wind in front of us, you know, which slow the ship down. Rather go Isabella and then down here to Santo Domingo and then take the faster route down there. Probably a good idea. Now, let's, for the first thing, let's go with our first town, that is Port Royale. And then we go up to Santiago, Baracoa, Puerto Padre, I think, back to Barracuda. Is that a good idea? That we have some beer. Santiago and back to Port Royale, right? So this is our first trade route. We are going to have a second one then soon as well, but I've got a very clear goal here. The first one is in Port Royale. What we can see is that clothing and cloth is pretty well, and sugar, right? That was something for Isabella, right? Sugar might be something, but I know in Santiago, let's just confirm that real quick. In Santiago, we do have the pastry, and that also needs sugar. So that will, well, most likely be a demand for sugar as well in that case. And yeah, that's it for now. So let's just edit that route. In Port Royale, we take cloth, we buy that with all the demand that we have, and also some sugar. That is this one here, right? So we take the sugar and the clothing, and perhaps even some cloth there as well. There we have it. Now we go to Santiago, and in Santiago we're going to sell these things. So most of all, sugar for a high priority. So he's going to make the margin as small as possible while still making some profit with that, right? On the other hand, we have some cloth that we're going to sell with medium priority, and the clothing with also medium priority. That is that, and we're going to repeat that with Baracoa, for example. There we also have then sugar, the cloth and the clothing. And also in Puerto Padre. So he decides then automatically how much of these goods he should purchase to fully satisfy all of these towns with these demands here, right? So in that case, that is it for now. So we have to purchase these goods from Port Royale and deliver them there. We cannot produce them yet. If we can produce them ourselves, well, then it's business time, because then we can produce it from poor workers and make the most of it. In Santiago, what we can see, there's pastry. So I would like to purchase some pastry in Santiago and sell it then in Baracoa. There we are going to sell it for a medium priority, and in Puerto Padre as well. And of course in Port Royale with the highest priority, otherwise he would purchase it again. That is on his way still to this side here. Now in Baracoa, what we're going to do is we're going to purchase some coal, because as we've seen, coal is in high demand in Puerto Padre, which is the next in town. And here we're going to sell coal with a very high priority. And then in Santiago and in Port Royale, it's medium priority, if there is a demand for coal actually. That is that. And in Puerto Padre, he's going to take the metalware. which is our most prime good here. Oops, purchase it. Right, and Puerto Padre, and then in Baracoa, you're going to sell it with a medium priority. In Santiago, you're going to sell it with a medium priority. And in Port Royale, you're going to sell it with a high priority, which is important because he needs to really, well, empty the cargo in that case. So there we have these things now working. I think this is, yeah, pretty standard good route that we have right now. In Baracoa, what I can see, there is some beer, right, that we could purchase. So let's purchase some beer here as well. And we can then sell it in Puerto Padre for medium priority, in Santiago, and in Port Royale also for high priority. Because I really want to sell as much stuff in Port Royale as possible, because with each time you sell something in a town, you gain some reputation. Right, so that is the route. I think it is pretty much finished now. We have all the things that are necessary here. The only thing that I can see in Santiago, there's some meat. Meat is also a bit rare. So we can purchase some meat here and sell it then in Baracoa. We can sell it in Puerto Padre. And we can sell it in Port Royale. Right, so I think we should be happy with that. And this is the trade route Port Royale Santiago. And this one here now we can assign to one of our ships. So in that case, to the Santo Domingo, as it's called. Assign the route to this ship. And now this ship is automatically trading. And I don't have to worry about manual trading anymore, which gets a bit tiresome. Beautiful weather we have today. There is a fellow merchant from Puerto Padre at the moment. We are not going to bother him because he would most likely one-shot us. And of course we only have one ship so far. We don't really have that much money. And let's just see how much money we can make from this route, or if we have to optimize something. While the ship is now on its route, we do get an event, the end of the Portuguese dynasty. The King of Portugal, Henry I, dies childless and ends the dynasty of the House of Avis. Since he had originally been low in the line of succession to the throne, he aspired to a religious career to represent Portugal's interests in Rome. When he ascended the throne as cardinal in 1578, he asked Pope Gregory VIII to release him from his vows in order to be able to marry and to produce an heir. However, Gregory VIII refused this request to avoid upsetting Philip II of Spain. A little history lesson there along the line. I love that we also have some history context. And while my ship is on the way, we do get also the first quest in Santiago. There we have it. And as we can see, at the seaside, a young woman is looking for someone who is able to help her. Could you help me find my husband? He went overboard on his last voyage, but I can't tell you the approximate location. A tricky one. We haven't really discovered much yet. I'm still going to accept. And find Harry Jackson in this area and return to Santiago by March the 1st, close to St. Augustine. Now, Augustine is something that we haven't discovered yet. Now, with the little knowledge that I have, I know that it is most likely somewhere here on the eastern side of Florida, or of this Florida island there. We don't have much time though. Let's just see if we can abort this trading that we have right now. Let's just see. I think, by the way, we made some money with it. We cannot see the balance yet because he hasn't finished the tour so far. He's got some goods in store right now, but nothing serious. But let's just get over there. Aborting the trade route that we have. He's going to take... Oh, it's still active. Right, let's get up there. Of course, it would be awesome to have a ship already, another ship at this point, but so far, no luck. There we have another quest. We have to deliver some cotton. This is an easy one. For a long time, the citizens of this town are missing a commodity, which already impacts their satisfaction negatively. Let's accept this task there as well. And, oh, there's St. Augustine. Very nice. And there should be something close by here. There should be someone missing, right? Now the big question is, where is this guy? Close down here perhaps? Or at the ocean outside there? I think we might have to go outside there a bit. And what I also like is that if you get closer to these vessels, well, they're slower, they're more realistic. The further you go outside, the more simulation-esque it gets. So, you know, the more faster, or the faster they travel and stuff like that. Where is this guy though? There's St. Augustine. And we do have the quest close by. Let's have a look at our journal there once again. Or is it...
Ah, you are a...
Where is that? Huh. Doesn't seem like we can find him here. Alright, I wasn't able to find the lad in the ocean. He drowned, most likely. What we can still do is, though, we can deliver the cotton to Puerto Padre. And in that case, we just have to unload it, whatever the cost. And as we can see, we get our first task here completed and 40 fame points with that. This is a nice little bonus that we have. And as we can see, we're pretty much close to level 1 there already, right? And with that, we can open up the tech tree then. Right, this is that. We can reactivate the trade route once again, because of course we still want to make some money here. And while this ship here now is, well, sailing around, hopefully making us some profit, we go to Santo Domingo, because in Santo Domingo we do have a shipyard. And in this shipyard we can purchase new ships. And at the moment we have some basic ships available, 3 schooners that is, so the most basic one. A pure merchant vessel. It does not have any cannons and will not take part in any battles yet. Right, so no cannons in this case. A small and maneuverable cargo vessel has 200 capacity and 13,000 it costs. It is available right now. We could also order one if there isn't one available and deliver the construction resources. Right, then we can go even higher. For example, the bark here, or the fluid, or the corvette, which is a fighter. Right, then we would have to deliver these goods, but that's a bit too expensive. Let's go with the basic schooner. And then we purchased it. Now, the schooner is available, it's not in any convoy yet. So let's click on the lighthouse, and there we have the vessel in the harbor. And let's create a new convoy called Ramona. That is fine. And Ramona we have. So now we have a second ship available to us. Very good. And with that, it's time to build up a second trade route, I think. So we need to expand there quickly. In that case, yeah, more quests are on the way, as we can see. Right now, I'd rather focus on the trading there a bit. A new trade route it is. And this one is now for the eastern part here. So this part here that we have. We start in Port Royale once again. We then go to Port-au-Prince, Tortuga, Isabella, Santo Domingo. As we can see, it's going around it, and then back again to Port Royale using the wind here, using the eastern wind that we have. Very good. Now with that, let's have a look around in Port Royale once again. Oh, in this case here, we should look out for the rum. So sugar is important. Once again, we're going to purchase some sugar here. We have grain. In Tortuga, there is beer production. That means they usually need grain. Let's also go with some grain that we can have here. And of course, as usual, some clothing here because it's quite valuable, I should say. Tortuga, what do you have? First of all, we're going with Port-au-Prince. Sorry, Port-au-Prince doesn't really have anything. So in Port-au-Prince, we're just going to sell these things. Very low here priority though for the sugar. Grain also low priority most likely, and the clothing that can be the medium priority. Then we go to Tortuga, and here we're going to sell the grain now in full. A bit of sugar perhaps, a bit of cloth once again with full priority. I think that's it for now. We can purchase beer though in this here, right? We have beer, and there's some ropes as well in Tortuga. So ropes might be a good idea as well. We're going to Isabella. In Isabella, there's the rum. So Isabella is now very important to sell the sugar at high priority. We want to get rid of all of it so that there is a high production of rum all the time. We're also going to sell the rest of our grain from now on. We're going to sell some of the ropes. We're going to purchase the rum. As we can see, there's a little wheel here that tells us it's being produced in this area. Bricks as well. Bricks, yeah, let's purchase that as well. Bricks is easy to craft and is in high demand everywhere because, well, basically it's needed for every construction. And the clothing here as well. Right. Oh, and we have furniture in Isabella. So the furniture in Isabella we could purchase there. Then we go to Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo is interesting because it's the capital. So we want to sell there as much as possible. We're going to sell everything that we haven't sold yet. Also the beer. We're going to sell the rum. Let's make it 4 stars. We're going to sell... Oh, right. Clothing is actually being produced here. But ceramics or ceramics we can purchase here. That is something. It's a very luxury good. I think beer we're selling. I think we're selling... Yeah, ropes. And then we're going back to Port Royale. And in Port Royale, we're going to basically sell now the ropes that we have. High. The beer that we have. High. The rum that we have. Did we sell the rum in Santo Domingo? Yes. And then in Port Royale we have that as well. And most likely the furniture. Oh, and the ceramics. Yeah. In Port Royale. Which is this one here. for high. And in Port-au-Prince, since that is the next one in line, we're also going to sell these things then. Right, and the rum that we have, and the beer that we have. So we really want to get rid of those things if they're still in the cargo. In Tortuga, we still also can sell some rum. Since we got lots of pirates there, there's most likely a high demand for it. The furniture as well, the ceramics there as well, selling all of it, right? And let's just hope that this is a profitable line. Let's confirm it, and let's assign it to Ramona that we have here. And Ramona is now on the second trade route that we have. So this is how we're starting our little trading empire. Both of them are working for us now. Also trading, that was quite expensive here. I hope it's worth it. What Ramona is doing here. Being now on its way. How's Port Royale looking? I think there is not that much development yet. As we can see, we got 520 workers in here, almost 2,000 inhabitants, 48 job seekers. That's very important to know once we build our plantations here and productions. We also have a minor risk of the plague. Other than that, well, a pretty basic town so far, but a beautiful one at that. And of course, this is only to grow then into something big. Right, there's another ship coming in. So far, only English vessels that we see. But, well, exploration will be our next target once we have a bit of money. And as we can see, a bit of cash is coming in at the moment. Stay tuned.